Good morning, all. Welcome to today's version of AP Physics Online. Hope today finds you well. And we're going to keep building upon prior concepts we have here so far. And you should have these different tools in your toolbox at this point. Maybe a couple others, but these are some core kinematics equations we have. We've figured out what velocity is. We figured out what acceleration is. And we have what are called kinematics equations that help us find values depending upon what we need and what we don't have. So if I don't have my displacement, I can figure out my final velocity by using this equation. If I don't have my final velocity, I can figure out my displacement using this equation. If time is not provided, I can figure out these variables. And if acceleration is not provided, I can figure out these things. Okay, so all those should be in your toolbox. If not, please add them to your toolbox because they're going to come in handy. Now, in class, we've dropped an object and we came up with some pretty valuable insights in terms of what was happening with acceleration, and we generated some fairly good data. So we're going to use that data and kind of operate as a presumption, the fact that our acceleration due to gravity, our value for g, is going to be a negative 9.8 meters per second squared. We're going to take that as a given today, and we're going to build upon that. So what would happen if I threw an object straight up instead of just dropping it with an initial velocity of 0? Okay, so the first question you might have is, what's the acceleration once it leaves my hand? Well, acceleration due to gravity is going to be constant. It's always going to be negative 9.8 meters per second. It's always a vector pointed in the negative direction. It does not matter if I drop it from standstill, or if I throw it downwards, or if I throw it up. It does not matter. The acceleration is a constant negative 9.8 meters per second squared. We are assuming free fall. We're not allowing for the fact that there's any air resistance. Now, if I do throw an object up in the air, okay, in a positive y direction, the velocity at its peak is 0. Okay, and that's going to be a key feature to make. If I throw an object up, its velocity at its maximum point is going to equal 0. It's at that point where I'm crossing from a positive velocity to a negative velocity. So at this point right here, at the apex, at the zenith, my velocity at the maximum is going to be 0. And so one final thing here is that if I throw an object up and it falls down, here's kind of an interesting feature of this, is that at any given juncture along the way here of this trajectory, the positive, let me switch to writing, the positive velocity and the negative velocity are just going to be exactly equal to one another. So if I throw an object up out of my hand and then I catch it again, it's going to hit my hand with the exact same velocity that it left my hand with. Okay, and our graphs today are going to illustrate this. So let's say we've got a displacement versus time graph, and I throw an object up over time, and I throw an object up to the 5 meter mark. Your graph will be parabolic. And you've learned about those in math, okay? And that means that the halfway point right here, okay, that's going to be when you're at your maximum, which makes sense. Now, we don't always have objects. This happens to be a special case where our delta y is 0, okay? That's not always going to be the case, as we're going to see. If I have a displacement versus time graph, here's what's going to happen. My displacement versus time graph is, I'm sorry, that's what that was. That was a displacement versus time graph. If I have a velocity versus time graph, that is simply going to be a straight line because it's a constant acceleration. And what's interesting to note here is that if I calculate this area and this area, that's going to be the displacement of my object. Okay, if these two areas happen to be equal, that means that I ended up exactly where I started from. My acceleration versus time graph is always going to be this negative 9.8 meters per second squared. So that's always going to be a constant. Okay, so those are some things that we should be able to take with us. So this is one, I want to make sure I have enough time for the recording, so I'm going to stop here and make a second recording. As I want to make a second recording, here to ensure that we have enough time to show you the problem. Okay, we'll see you in a bit.